Thank you. So Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb early. Okay, pointed out in our children's sermon, when it was still dark. Now, John doesn't include that little detail casually. Darkness in John's gospel is never about just the absence of light or the time of day. It's about spiritual darkness. It's about disorientation. It is about living in a moment where what has happened does not make sense. Where hope feels like it belonged to another time. So again, not just the time of day, but the state of the world. Disoriented, confused. Rome still holds power. Violence has seemingly won as she goes to the tomb. This is what makes the resurrection story so striking, that light does not wait for the darkness to lift, right? It breaks in on it. Before the sun rises, before understanding comes, before belief even catches up. Resurrection begins while it is still dark. Not after everything has cleared, but right in the middle of a world that still looks very unchanged. Because for Mary, this is not Easter morning. This is her third day of grief. Jesus is dead. The one who changed everything in her life is gone. The one who saw her, who called her by name, who gave her dignity and purpose, has been executed, humiliated, and buried. And so she comes to the tomb carrying what people carry when their hope has been shattered. She carries spices. She carries her grief. And the quiet, heavy assumption that death has won. And that's where Mary is. She doesn't come to the tomb expecting something new. She's coming because there is nothing left for her to do. There is nothing more she can do. She can just show up. But when she arrives, the stone is already rolled away, and her mind immediately goes to the only conclusion that fits her world, right? Theft. Someone has taken the body. The empty tomb for her does not read as hope, it reads as one more act of desecration. How could this day get any worse, right? Now they've taken his body. So she runs to Peter and the other disciple, and they run back with her. They look, they see the linen cloths. Something's off, but nothing's clear. And they leave. But Mary doesn't. Mary stays. She stays and she stands there weeping, held in that space where grief has not yet loosened its grip. Eventually, she looks in the tomb again. There are angels there. But even that does not shift her understanding. They have taken away my Lord, she tells them. She turns. And Jesus is standing there, alive. She doesn't recognize him. She's not expecting that, right? Because resurrection does not always announce itself in ways we immediately understand. Sometimes it stands right in front of us. And we still see it through the lens of what we expect it to be. And expect the world to be. And Jesus asks her, "Why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" And she answers with the same urgency and the same grief. She is still trying to recover what she has lost. She's still searching for Jesus in the only place she knows to look, the place where the dead are kept. But then he says her name, Mary. And that's what does it. That's the trigger. That's the moment everything in Mary's life changes again. Not because she has a whole bunch of new information, not because the situation suddenly makes a whole lot of sense to her, but because she recognizes the voice. The one who knew her, who called her, who saw her, speaks again to her and calls her by name. It's that direct enactment of when Jesus said, "My sheep know my voice." And what happens next is just as important as that moment of recognition. Jesus doesn't go out and tell them, "Now go prove it." Does he? He doesn't say, "Go prove this." He doesn't tell her to argue. He doesn't give her a strategy for convincing people. He simply sends her. He says, "Go to my brothers and tell them," and gives her this stuff to tell them. And what does Mary say when she finds them? She just goes, "I have seen the Lord," and then proceeds to tell them what he told her to tell them. That's it. There's not a big debate, not some huge defense, not an attempt to force belief upon them, simply a witness of her encounter. And it's interesting that those moments of witness and encounter in John's gospel happen with women. This isn't the first time, right? Another woman, also unlikely by every social measure, encounters Jesus and has to go back to her community and tell them what she encountered. Not as a way to compel them or pressure them. Jesus just revealed her life out loud, right? The Samaritan woman. "This man knew everything about me, told me my whole life. Come and see." Come and see, that invitation. And many do, and that is how the gospel moves. Not through domination, not through coercion, but through witness of what they saw, what they experienced, through an invitation. Through people who have encountered something real and cannot help but to speak of it. Through people who are on the margins who do not have the power or the ability to force their views and beliefs on anyone. I mean, after all, a woman's word in that day and age was not credible. It wasn't reliable. It carried no legal authority whatsoever. If you were trying to establish truth, you would not begin with a woman. And yet the resurrection does. Because the kingdom of God does not operate by the credibility standards of the world. It does not rely on power, status, or control. It begins with a woman in the dark, still weeping, who heard her name and turned. Which tells us something about how the resurrection works. It does not wait for you to be in the right state of mind. It does not depend on whether you are standing in clarity or in confusion, whether you are in confidence or in deep grief. It meets you where you are and calls you by name. Mary does not arrive at the tomb with faith in the resurrection. She has no idea that's what she's about to encounter. She arrives with spices and sorrow. She does not recognize Jesus when she first sees him. She does not understand what has happened until he speaks her name. And still, she is the one that is sent to proclaim it. Not when everything is clear, not when faith feels strong, but somewhere between grief and recognition, between darkness and dawn. Mary is not sent because she is persuasive. She is not sent because she is certain. She is sent because she has seen. She has witnessed. She has experienced. And that reframes what it means for us to bear witness as well. It means we are not responsible for making every single person believe, right? We can't coerce that. We're not called to force it, to pressure it, to dominate it. We are called to speak honestly about what we have encountered, what we have experienced, and simply invite others into that experience. To say in whatever way we can, I have seen the Lord. I have seen the Lord, and this is what he has done. Some of us come to this day standing in the light, where things feel very clear, very steady. Some of us come exactly where Mary began, in the dark, where grief or confusion still lingers. Easter does not require you to be in one place or the other. It meets you where you are, and it calls you by name. With renewed confidence,